At family dinner, my dad declared, "Your brother's a provider. Always has been." The room burst into applause. I leaned back and said, "Perfect. Then he can handle the $9,200 credit card balance I've been clearing for him." The golden child nearly choked. I swear I knew something was off when Mom set the dining room table with the good china. That's reserved for Christmas or Easter or the rare times Ethan decides to bless us with his presence. But this time, he'd already been back for 2 months, sleeping in his old room like a 34-year-old high school senior, while everyone around him pretended he was just regrouping. He didn't have a job, didn't have a plan. He spent most of his days at the gym scrolling Instagram in between sets or networking at coffee shops, which from what I could tell just meant him scrolling Instagram in a different chair. But somehow my parents still talked about him like he was Moses parting the Red Sea. I hadn't even put my napkin on my lap when Dad raised his glass. "Your brother's a provider. Always has been." I wish I was exaggerating when I say the room burst into applause. Mom teared up. Jenna gave Ethan this sideways look like he just donated bone marrow to orphans. And even my uncle, who hasn't clapped for anything since 1998, nodded like he was watching some kind of hero get honored. I didn't clap. I leaned back in my chair, picked up my wine glass, and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Perfect. Then he can handle the $9,200 credit card balance I've been clearing for him." Silence. Like someone had unplugged the entire house. Ethan actually choked, coughing, sputtering, knocking over his Pellegrino like it was lava. Jenna went rigid. My mom made a sound somewhere between a gasp and a denial. And my dad, who never looked surprised, looked like someone just told him the house was on fire. I didn't move, just sat there while the heat in the room shifted entirely. Let me back up. 6 months ago, Ethan called me saying his startup's funds were frozen. He just needed help for a few weeks. He said he couldn't get approved for a card because of a dumb tax thing, and he needed a favor. A simple cosign just to get him through a rough patch. He promised it would never touch me, that I could trust him. By the second month, I was getting minimum payment alerts. By the fourth, debt collectors were calling me. Meanwhile, he was flying to Tulum with Jenna and buying essential gear for a hiking trip he never actually took. I paid the balance down every month, hoping it would stop. I kept the statements. I kept the screenshots. I even emailed him twice with the totals, which he never replied to. So that night, while everyone was pretending Ethan had built civilization with his bare hands, I dropped it. Mom tried to wave it off, said I must have misunderstood. I pulled out the envelope I'd brought, laid it in the middle of the table. Jenna reached for it first. She barely got through page 1 before she looked up like she was about to pass out. "Are you seriously doing this here?" "Yeah, I am." Dad stood up like he thought he could put the genie back in the bottle. I looked at Ethan. All that confidence, that smugness, that golden boy shine, gone. "Just panic now. You owe me $9 grand. Start providing." Then I walked out, left my half-eaten salmon on the plate. Let them sit with it. They didn't know it yet. But this wasn't just a confrontation. It was a warning shot. And I wasn't done. Not even close. They didn't call me for 3 days after the dinner. Not a single text. Not even a fake "How are you?" It was total radio silence, which in my family only means one thing: damage control. They weren't processing what I said. They were scrambling, trying to figure out how to spin it, how to keep the image intact. On the 4th day, Dad finally texted, "We need to talk. Come over tonight." No explanation, no apology, just an order. I stared at the message for a while, then tossed my phone on the couch. I didn't reply until 5 hours later with one word. "Why?" He never answered. At exactly 6:03 p.m., I pulled into their driveway anyway. Not because I owed them a damn thing, but because I wanted to see how far the cracks had spread. The moment I stepped inside, I knew I'd walked into a staged intervention. The table was already set again with the good china. Mom had candles lit like this was a peace summit. Dad was sitting at the head of the table with a manila folder in front of him like he was mediating a merger, not cleaning up his son's financial mess. Jenna stood in the corner of the kitchen with her arms crossed. She didn't look at me. No one said hello. Dad gestured to the seat across from him, and I sat without a word. He opened the folder and slid it across the table. Inside was a check, $9,200, exactly what Ethan owed me. He said they wanted to resolve this like adults, that it was inappropriate to bring up something so personal at a family gathering. I asked him how many times I should have brought it up in private before it became okay to say it out loud. He didn't answer. Mom said Ethan was under a lot of pressure lately, that he was trying to get back on his feet, and that he just made some mistakes. She said he never meant for it to land on me. I asked them if they wanted to see the texts where he ghosted me, the emails he ignored, the purchases he made after I told him I was struggling to cover it, $600 headphones, 2 days shipping on a drone. I told them I kept every receipt, every transaction. Jenna flinched when I said that. That's when I knew she had no idea it was that bad. Mom tried to pivot, said the important thing was the debt was handled, that we could move forward now. That's when Jenna quietly walked to the living room, picked up a duffel bag that had been sitting next to the couch, and turned to Mom and Dad. He said she was done, that she wasn't going to spend one more night pretending Ethan was someone he wasn't. He said I was right. I didn't say anything. I just watched her leave, stunned at how quiet she was about it. No theatrics, no fight, just done. Apparently, after the dinner, she started digging. Found the same statements I had. Opened his laptop and saw the payments. Saw the apps, the screenshots I printed. She'd already seen half of them the night before. Mom looked like she was about to cry. Dad just sat there staring at the check like it was some sort of hostage ransom. He pushed it across the table again. This time, I took it fully, not because I was forgiving anything. That check wasn't justice. It was just a receipt. It was the cost of exposure. The first payment for years of pretending I didn't see what was happening in front of me. But I wasn't done. Not even close. I didn't just want my money. I wanted accountability. So, I walked out with the check, went straight home, and opened a brand new folder on my desktop. Ethan, cleanup begins because the golden boy had cracks now. And next time he tried to bury his mess, he wouldn't be able to do it in the dark. And the next move was mine. 2 weeks. That's how long the silence lasted after they handed me the check. Long enough for them to convince themselves it was over. Long enough for me to start gathering everything. Then came the first crack, a call from a blocked number. I let it ring out. The voicemail was short and pathetic. Just Ethan breathing like he was pacing, and then a muttered line. "You think you're better than me?" Then a hang-up. No name, no explanation. I saved it. The next day, a message popped up on LinkedIn from someone named Tara Holbrook. Didn't recognize the name, but the message made me sit up. "Hi, Grace. I hope it's okay. I'm reaching out. I think your brother might have scammed me. Can we talk?" I didn't answer right away. I Googled her. He was real. A UI designer. Worked with startups. Nothing sketchy. When I finally replied, she sent me everything. And I mean everything. Apparently, Ethan had joined a women in tech startup circle. Claimed he was building an inclusive fintech solution for underserved communities, which translated from bullsh meant nothing. He pitched it like a feminist tech dream. Hiring all-female developers, giving shares to marginalized creators, donating a percentage of profits to girls in STEM. They fell for it. Why wouldn't they? He had charm, buzzwords, and a track record they couldn't verify because he always blamed NDAs. 3 women signed on. No pay until seed funding, but he promised equity, mentorship, future salaries. Tara had even helped him design pitch decks for investors, real ones. Then he vanished. Slack gone, domain shut down, email accounts wiped. He blocked all 3 women on everything. Tara found me through a reverse image search. Someone had posted an old holiday family photo on Facebook. He saw his name in a tag and went down the rabbit hole. Ended up on my profile. I didn't lie to her. I told her everything about the credit card, the lies, the check. I asked her to send me every file, every message, every document. She did. I opened a folder and started sorting. 3 days later, Mom showed up at my apartment without warning. I hadn't seen her in person since dinner. She looked thinner, stressed, eyes bagged like she hadn't slept. She didn't ask to come in. She just stood in the doorway and said Ethan had been missing for days. No calls, no texts. Even Jenna had blocked them both. She wanted to know if I'd said anything. Not what did he do, but did I say anything? That's when I realized they still weren't mad at what he did. They were mad I wasn't keeping it quiet. I told her more women were coming forward. I didn't soften it. I told her some of them were building a case, that one of them was considering going to the police. Mom didn't cry. She just went pale and asked me not to make this public. I told her it already was. 2 days later, an anonymous blog post went viral in a local startup community. It told the story of a fake founder who exploited women in tech under the guise of allyship. It didn't name him directly, but the details were too specific. People in the scene knew. One commenter posted a blurry photo of Ethan from a startup mixer. Another posted screenshots spiraled from there. I got a message from a woman named Kay who said Ethan borrowed $2,000 from her for a quick angel investment opportunity and never paid her back. Another girl, Courtney, let him stay at her place in Santa Monica for a week. He left with her AirPods, a $1,600 laptop, and her Spotify still logged in. I created a shared Google Drive called Ethan Fisher Digital Trail. I uploaded every file, every message, every recording, every dollar, and then I sent the link to Jenna. She replied within minutes. Let's finish this. I didn't ask what she meant. I just invited her to the folder. The golden boy wasn't just falling apart. He was unraveling. And now, finally, he was running out of people to land on. But I wasn't done because karma was only part of the plan. The rest, that was revenge. It started with a tweet. Just one. Someone from the local startup scene replied to the now viral blog post about a fake founder exploiting women and said, "Is this Ethan Fisher? Who took him long enough to get exposed?" No tag, no photo, just a name. But that was all it took. Within the hour, 3 more people replied, confirming it. A few added stories of their own. Small things, shady behavior, weird pitches disappearing after borrowing money for conference fees. His name was out. Then someone dropped the link to the shared Google Drive. Not me, not Jenna. It started in one of the women's professional groups. Tara had shared it privately with a few others for protection, and one of them decided it needed to go public. I don't blame her. By the next morning, it had 3,000 views, then 10,000. Someone posted it to a Reddit thread titled, "This tech bro scammed women into building his fake startup. Guess who's unemployable now?" It went viral. People started sharing screenshots of his emails, old pitches from meetups, recycled content from online templates, and even reused logos. Someone dug up a Fiverr invoice where he paid $50 for a fake testimonial video, an actor claiming his company reduced gender discrimination in fintech. I watched it unfold in real time, and I didn't feel joy. I felt cold, resolute. At 11:24 a.m., someone tagged a company he'd recently interviewed with, a mid-sized fintech startup in Austin. By 2 p.m., they released a statement. Following new information regarding ethical concerns, we have rescinded our offer to Ethan Fisher. We stand with the women who have come forward. Just like that, his future crumbled. In broad daylight. Mom called that night. No pretense, it was about him. She said Ethan showed up at their house 2 days ago. No car, no suitcase, just a backpack and a cracked phone. He hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, looked broken. I asked if he'd said anything. Like sorry. Like I did it. She said no, just that he was scared. Then came the plea. Could I take it all down? Like I had a magic button to erase everything. Like she hadn't spent a decade covering for him while I was left to drown in his messes. I told her I didn't make it public. The people he hurt were finally speaking out. Maybe she should ask him why he burned it all down instead of asking me to clean it up. She went silent, then started crying. Said their phones wouldn't stop ringing. That people from church were asking questions. That dad was furious and lost. I told her I wasn't done, because I wasn't. 2 days later, Jenna reached out. She wanted to meet. We sat at a diner near my place. No small talk. She looked different, lighter, maybe even relieved. She handed me something wrapped in a gray hoodie, an external hard drive. She said Ethan kept backups of everything. Business files, emails, contracts, voice notes, all of it. She found it while packing his stuff after he fled to his parents' house. I didn't open it until later that night. The drive had 49 folders. I opened one labeled Bridge Loans and froze. It was a spreadsheet. Names, dates, amounts, people he borrowed from. Dozens. Family, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, women he dated. One entry read, rideshare driver, $400, emergency tow, unpaid. Next to each, notes, likely won't follow up. Blocked me. No paper trail. Still guilt tripping. Then I saw my name, Grace. $9,200. Cleared. __ next to it, a column labeled backstop. Mom. She was there too, twice. $5,000 for car loan and $2,500 for miscellaneous. She'd known. She didn't just enable him. She bankrolled him while I cleaned up his chaos. I sat staring at the screen, thinking of every time she said Ethan was just lost or trying. Every holiday I spent holding my tongue while they toasted his latest fake success. Now I had proof. All of it. It wasn't just Ethan who'd buried me, it was them. I'd been silent long enough. So I started writing. Not just a drive, not just a Reddit thread, not just whispers in private groups. I drafted a full expose, a timeline with names, dates, receipts, documents. This time, it wouldn't be anonymous. If the Golden Boy was going down, the Golden family was going with him. They'd built this facade brick by brick, and I'd tear it down, truth by truth. The night I finished the expose, I didn't sleep. I saved it in 3 places: my laptop, an encrypted cloud drive, and a backup USB I put in an envelope and locked in my safe deposit box the next morning. This wasn't just about protecting a story anymore. It was about protecting myself. I haven't published it yet, but I know it's coming. I got an email from a supposed attorney, not Ethan or my parents, threatening legal action over defamation for exposing Ethan's scams. It was a bluff. Jenna confirmed the lawyer was a family friend, Alan, an insurance salesman. I called it out, listing Ethan's victims and offering court discovery. No reply. 3 days later, my cousin Josh, scammed by Ethan for $12,000, met me, looking wrecked. Ethan had conned him and his friend with a fake app scheme. Josh was humiliated but laughed grimly when I showed him my spreadsheet noting he'd fold if cornered. That night, Dad showed up unannounced, looking worn. He'd read my blog post exposing Ethan and handed me a $15,000 check to cover Ethan's messes. I refused it. It wasn't about money but their years of enabling Ethan while I suffered. I told him the expose was scheduled to publish. He didn't fight, just said, "Do what you need to do," and left. Mom texted, begging me not to publish, saying they'd cut Ethan off. But it wasn't over for me. The expose went live Monday at 9:01 a.m. The Golden Child, a family's silence, a brother's lies, and the cost we all paid. It detailed Ethan's scams, $9, 200, unpaid women, a 46-name debt list. Factual, no embellishment. By noon, it spread across Reddit, Twitter, Medium, LinkedIn, and a female founders group, shared 70,000 plus times in 24 hours. A podcast invited me to discuss narcissistic family systems. I declined. I just wanted the truth out. My parents emailed, hurt by my public move, and cut contact. No acknowledgement of Ethan's wrongs. I archived it, muted them, and felt nothing. Ethan vanished, his socials deleted too late. Some women filed claims, others connected, supporting each other. Jenna started an agency with one of Ethan's victims. Josh confessed to his wife and thanked me for stopping him from losing more. Weeks later, a handwritten letter arrived, no return address. Mom's writing, "I should have protected you. I'm sorry. It didn't fix anything, but I kept it as proof I wasn't crazy." Ethan's lies were exposed, and so was the old me who stayed silent. My parents' rejection set me free. I live honest, loud, and done cleaning up liars' messes.